Hi everyone, thanks for joining us. My name's Dan. I'm the creative lead on LEGO Mindstorms, and I'm here with my friend Morten.
Yes, and I'm one of the designers on the new LEGO Mindstorms robot inventor set.
And we're here in the Mindstorms meeting room in Innovation House in Billund to give you a look at the brand new Mindstorms, which is coming out in just under 2 weeks' time. We'll go through the models, the app, some of the design process, have a look at the new elements and all the cool stuff in the box. And then answer any questions you have about the new Mindstorms and anything we've shown you today. Before we start, I had a couple of questions that were submitted beforehand, and I just want to address those and go to those first, and then we'll get right into to the new set. So the first question we came, which is, can we explain the difference between the new LEGO Mindstorms and Spike Prime? And the big thing is these two share the same technology family, so the same new components, the hub, the new angular motors, the new sensors. They also share the same coding experience, so Scratch-based and Python-based coding. So we have this, for the first time, we're creating something which is on the new LPF2 platform and using the technology that's been debuted in Spike Prime. The big difference is we have 4 motors in our set. We have 949 bricks, so a huge number of bricks more than having the Spike Prime set. We have a different app, so the app is on laptop, tablet, and also mobile phones. We have additional functionality in the app for LEGO Mindstorms. I have an animation editor, sounds on hub with custom sounds for all the models, and also a remote control coding builder, and also PlayStation 4 and Xbox One controller support. So we have a lot of extra play and an extra functionality in the app over the Spike Prime app. Also, the 2 apps and the 2 experiences are designed for 2 very different markets. Obviously, Spike Prime is designed for classroom, for teaching curriculum, for being led by a teacher, and to have multiple children all working at the same time. LEGO Mindstorms is designed for kids and adults to enjoy that experience either on their own or with their friends and family. It's not based around curriculum. It's not based around teaching explicit coding principles. It's about having really fun, really cool robots that also teach those coding principles. Those are the big differences between Spike Prime and the new LEGO Mindstorms. The next question was around support for EV3 going forwards in terms of software. And obviously we have a brand new software for the new LEGO Mindstorms, which we'll go through in a bit. But some of you may have seen we launched EV3 Home earlier in the year for Mac OS. And this brings the Scratch-based programming to EV3 users. And it's a brand new interface, and it's got all the building instructions and all the stuff for EV3 in that app. And we'll be rolling this out in early 21 to other platforms as well. So we're still committed to supporting EV3, and with this new software, it's going to be something that we maintain. So users of EV3 and existing Mindstorms fans can still use their existing robots. So those are the 2 big questions that I had sent to me before that people wanted some information on. I think now Morten should take you through what's in the box and what to expect, and give you a little bit of background of some of the process we went through in making this new Mindstorms.
Yes.
Morten?
Yes. So here it is, the Mindstorms robot inventor set 51515, and you can see here are all our models. This time we don't have 1 main model, we actually have 5 main models, and we'll go through them in a bit. But let's see what's in the box. First of all, we have the hub, the central brain of the set, which brings all the models to life. And as Dan mentioned, we have 4 angular motors, which gives us a lot of options for creating new cool models. We have a color sensor and a distance sensor. And in the hub itself is also a gyroscope.
Oh, just reminded me actually of one of the difference in Spike Prime and Mindstorms is we don't have the new force sensor. It's not something that's included in LEGO Mindstorms, which is included in the Spike Prime set. That is something that will be available to be purchased separately on Shop at Home. But also when we were building all the models and when we were doing very early exploration, we found that we got way more benefit from adding an extra motor to the set than having the touch sensor. Because in the play and in the robots that we built and the experiences we built, the 4 motors really brought them to life. And I say Morten's going to show you how cool the models are with those 4 motors in a bit. But that was just one thing that I forgot to mention.
Yes.
Try more.
Cool. Oh, and we of course also have a USB cable. But here, as you can see, there is a lot of elements in the set, almost 1,000. And this technic plate already jumped out. That's one of the new cool elements. And you can see it's in teal. That's a new color. That well, it's not a new color, but that's a lot of the elements haven't been made in this color before. So as you can see, many of the bags here are full of teal elements. And that was something we talked through early in the design process, which colors we should have. You know, we wanted white and we wanted black, but then we added teal as this accent to give them all a really cool, quasi-futuristic design. We also have this big red Duplo ball because we have a sports pod in the set, so we need to have a ball. And one thing that's cool about the set is that there's also a few system bricks. So the set contains elements from all 3 Lego families, which I also think is a first. Another cool element that we had a lot of discussion about is this thing that was initially in the Technic Land Rover, and we got a color change for it for white. So I could design Charlie's face here. So he has this this chin or grin or whatever you call it. And we had a lot of debates back and forth how we should look, but we ended up with these 2 crooked antennas and this big one to really give him a cool signature look. And then when I got one in the set, I also got another one in the set because it gives a lot of options to create different baskets and different creations, as you will see in a bit. We also have a lot of these big Technic frames, which are very good for building with, especially when you're creating larger constructions. And we managed to get 6 of these wheels in the set, which gives a lot of options for when creating your own models. You can do a lot of cool things, and we have done a lot of cool things with them as well.
And the really cool thing about these wheels is they're also really good to build with. You know, so the design of them is multi-purpose. So you know, you can actually build them as platforms to create stability, and we use that for a lot of the smaller builds where we haven't used all the wheels in the main robot. Is we'll use a wheel, you know, as a base to then build a more secure structure on. So there's some really fun ways to build with the elements.
Yeah. As a designer, it was really cool because in the beginning we worked basically without limits. We just wanted to create the models we wanted to create. So we did all the 5 models and started building a lot of different extensions and props and all the things that we're going to show you in a bit. And that took up a lot of elements. And when we were done by that, Dan and I talked and said, hey, we want to put something extra in. And that's why we put for example, put a plate like this in, and we have extra turntables and a lot of extra Technic pins and extra elements. So when you have built your model, you will have extra things to build with yourself. Because we wanted to, because this is this is a robot inventor set, and we want you to invent things yourself. So that's why a lot of extra elements, you know, facilitates all this creativity that we want to see from
Real quick. We have one of the attendees asking if they could get a real good close-up on the wheels that you were just showing off there.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
It's not on the black t-shirt background, maybe. Maybe.
Yeah.
So again, these wheels were something that were co-developed with LEGO Education, and they're in the Spike Prime course set. I think they've also been used in the Haunted House. They were used by Carl, who designed the Haunted House, actually worked on the Mindstorms early designs and early sketch models. So he borrowed those from us to put in his Haunted House. I think we had to pay for the color change, and then he was the one that used them first. I think I see them in a couple of motorbikes from I think Ninjago, or was it Greater or somewhere, because they're really nice to build with. So yeah, they're a really nice wheel. They're also, how many other wheels in the set? There are 4 small wheels.
Yeah, we have 4 small system wheels. We have a lot of gears
And
4 ball wheels that you can see. I'm showing a bit. Yeah, you can see them.
Yeah,
here.
And these ball wheels were designed for Star Wars Boost, and that was again created in the same team that we work in. So we had that was something that was designed, you know, in our area, and we thought we'd love to use it because it's such a nice element that was designed for Star Wars Boost and R2-D2. So we put 4 of them in the set. So there's a lot of wheels.
There's a lot of wheels, yes. Yeah. But there's yeah, a plethora of different elements. We even have another little red ball here, as you can see. We have a lot of white panels to finish up your model and make it look really cool. But most of all, we're just excited to see what the community is going to build with these bricks. Which one?
And this is.
Oh yeah, yes. And we also managed to get a sticker sheet in the set, so you can customize your models, and with a lot of different Mindstorm logos and a lot of different icons, which you can have fun with.
And these aren't in the building instructions anywhere. They're just there for kids to personalize their models with. And you can see we have a little heart on Charlie here, and we have Blast with you know, the rock robot and the skull on the shoulder. So it's just little fun stuff. But also, if you don't like stickers, then it's fine. You don't have to put them on, right?
Yeah.
Hey Dan,
we've got them on our t-shirt, right? Because we like them.
Yeah.
Do you want me to? I am getting some more questions. Do you want me to wait till the end to where we have a Q&A, or
Sure.
do you want it to be more fluid? So Dawn is actually asking, is the hub rechargeable as in the Spike Prime?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep. So it has the same rechargeable battery, and it has the USB cable. So it's the same hub essentially as the Spike Prime hub, but obviously in the new Mindstorms colors.
Yes.
Yeah, we forgot to mention that. And actually, when we did some early prototypes, when we were building some of the early sketch models before we had finished hardware, and we were trying to build with boost hubs and the EV3 hubs, they were just so heavy or so large in comparison to this hub. You know, it's so small, and with the rechargeable battery, and it's so much lighter than the old Mindstorms hub, either with the rechargeable or with AA batteries, and the smaller, easier to build motors. You know, for Morten and Jörn and Carl and the other guys who have been building on this, it really opened up a world of possibilities, you know, that we haven't had in the past, to be able to make, you know, more compact models, make them quicker, make them simpler for kids to build, and also make them move in ways we haven't seen before.
Yeah. It's basically Gilo, which we will get to in a bit. And the robot with all the motors and everything on it weighs the same as the hub weighs the same as the old EV3 hub. So that's just to say how big of a weight difference that is. So that wouldn't be possible to make with the old technology, at least not really making it a lot bigger.
Another one, does the Spike Hub work with the Mindstorm app?
Yes. So it will need the firmware updated on the Spike Hub to match the firmware and the software. But yep, they're totally fine to be updated to work with either. So you could take a Mindstorms hub and then you could use it, you know, with the Spike software if you wanted.
Another gentleman has, oh, sorry, go for it.
Sorry, I could say the reason why it's not just, you cannot just take them and use them without updating the firmware or updating the hubs between the two pieces of software is for the reasons I spoke to earlier, that we have actually extra stuff in the Mindstorms app which doesn't exist in the Spike app. So if you were to take Charlie, for example, which uses the animation block and the sound block to create its face and its emotion and characteristics, and if you were to take that code and you were to try and open that in the Spike app, it doesn't have those code blocks, or it doesn't have all of those code blocks. It doesn't have the animation editor. So therefore you would get an error, and you wouldn't be able to run the program. So to avoid that frustration, to avoid that problem and all the edge cases that come with that, if you're using the Spike app, then your hub is running the Spike firmware, and if you're using the Mindstorms app, it's using the Mindstorms. But it can be either the yellow hub from Spike or the teal hub from Mindstorms.
Another question is, are the small red balls the same size suitable for GBC?
I don't, is it a GBC ball?
It's a 16mm ball.
I can't remember. I think it might be. I don't know if is it the same one that was in EV3. We can check and get back to you.
Yes. Oh, I think this is the same as that was in EV3. Yes.
I mean, the element stock is across the corridor, so we could run out and check.
Does it have a dimple?
Yes, it has a dimple. Yes.
So it's not a GBC one. It's a Zamor sphere.
There we go.
Thanks.
because the GBC ball we have in orange, and the old ones like the footballs, don't we? And I was just trying to think, I don't think we have it in there. So.
Another question we have is the 88010 remote. Will it work with the new hub?
This is the LPF2 remote. Sorry, I'm just trying to remember. That's the LPF2 remote that came with the City train. Is that the correct?
I'll get a clarification.
If that's, so we're on the obviously moved to the LPF2 the powered up LPF2 platform with the new Mindstorms, and in our roadmap is to make sure that all motors and sensors can work with the hub. At launch, we have obviously all of the motors and sensors in the box working, and then we have in our development roadmap to then bring on all of the other motors and sensors into the experience. In terms of timelines, we're still working on that because we want to see also what where we should focus our efforts. So that's something that we're in active engagement with the community and with fans with as to what should we bring first to the Mindstorms experience. But to start with, it's what's in the box. But ultimately, we are on the LPF2 platform, and it's looking to make sure we deliver on that play promise. So I'm trying to see the messages pop up. They're very small on my screen. So yeah, the one we're powered up. So yeah, that's on LPF2. So that's something that we will look at in our roadmap. It won't work on day one, but I say if there is feedback that this is something that's important and something we want to get working, then we will definitely look into it with the development team. Cool, right. I think that's it from the box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my laptop and I'm going to share my screen and go through a little bit of the app with you guys. Hopefully, you can now see the homepage of the new Mindstorms app, which is the 5 models, as Morten talked to: Charlie, Tricky, Blast, MVP, and Gilo. And this is the start screen for the app on desktop, on mobile. This is the other thing, just to very quickly mention. In the past, when we've had desktop and mobile experiences, we haven't had parity across our coding and control experiences. With the new Mindstorms app, it's the same app no matter which device you're on. So there are no missing code blocks. There are no missing features. You can do everything on whatever platform you're on. And we'll be launching on Windows 10, Mac OS on both of the app stores there, on Android and on iOS. So if I look at the app on my phone, I get, you see my thing, I get exactly the same view, but obviously in a mobile view. So it's exactly the same in terms of the experience. If I want to write the code all on my phone, I can do it all on my phone. If I want to do it on my laptop and then airdrop it to my phone, I can open up the code and I can modify it and vice versa. From here, we have each robot has each model has a getting started area, which introduces the kids to the fundamentals of building the robot, the functions, and also the code to introduce them step by step. Also, some wayfinding and some help with the experience is provided in these early stages. One of the things that you'll probably notice is this isn't like a traditional Lego build in terms of most Lego models, I think nearly all Lego models, just looking at Morten because this has been a challenge, they're built from the bottom up, right? So you always start with the base of the building or the chassis of the vehicle. And what we wanted to do was we wanted to start from the top down. We wanted to build the head of the robot first because that's the fun bit, right? So, when we did, I mean, we've done a lot of testing over the last 3 years of the development of this product. When we got kids to try and build sort of simple stuff, but then the first step was turn the lights on the hub and animate something or add a sound or write your name or make it flash, change the button color. We couldn't get them to the next stage of the test we were doing because they were having too much fun messing around, being kids, enjoying the product. And that was awesome, really cool, but also really frustrating because we did have to test things, but when we kept seeing this in multiple tests with different kids in different countries, we thought, well, why are we fighting this? Why isn't the first part of building, Charlie, of building Blast, all about bringing the robot, its head, the brain, to life? So that's where you see Hello World, right? It had to be called Hello World if it's your first programming, experience. We get a little trailer when we come into the activities. And this is also, again, to help kids who, and people who download the app who may not have bought the set yet, to get an idea and an understanding of what to expect. Here you'll see the coding canvas. This is something that's not unfamiliar to many kids today, and also grown-ups in terms of a Scratch-based coding canvas. We hide everything away at this stage because we don't want to overload, and again, this has come from a lot of user testing and a lot of tests with young kids and also parents. And here we have to build Charlie's head, and it's all digital building instructions in the app. So there's no physical building instructions in the box, partly because this isn't a traditional building experience. It's not just following one path all the way to the end and then you're done. It's actually about having an experience and having fun as you go along. So this is only 4 steps and you've built the head, right? So super simple, you've built the head, and then we can get the whole connection flow, which is over Bluetooth and also over USB. I'll do the connection on my phone and iPad in a minute, so we don't go through all of that here. And then we give the code to get things going. And this is, we're not teaching them to open a palette and to drag stuff and to do this. We're giving them the code so they can have fun straight away. And a lot of this came from the work that we did and the testing, but also speaking to the guys in the Scratch Foundation at MIT about how kids learn and how kids understand code. It is not, and how they're motivated to learn more, is not about teaching them all the fundamentals and all the basics and then making them, and then giving them a big task to do. It's giving them a game and showing them how they can change a variable so the character says something different or the background changes color. And that's a lot of the success that they've had with the activities on Scratch, and they have a lot of on the Scratch website. So we've taken a similar approach where with this, if I run this code now, Charlie just wakes up and says hello. But we also give little prompts to say, well, you can change the animations. And this is something really cool and something Morten worked really hard on is this animation editor and animation library. So if I go to the animation library, I can see that I've got all the different models, and they have a variety of different animations that are pre-built. In the animation editor, it's a really simple sort of onion skin, approach to sort of clicking and adding and creating your own animations. And it's very quick to, you can create different eyes for Charlie here. And you've got different effects in terms of overlays and loop, and you've got frame rate. So you can really quickly build up lots of different animations. And again, we found kids having so much fun. I don't want to save that because it's not as good as the animations Morten made. And then within each activity, you can then go to the next activity and then take yourself through to a finished robot. And in the past, when you look at what we've done before with many of our products, and you look at a classic Lego build, when you've built the hero model, when you've built the big model, you don't have many bricks left over and you're pretty much done. Whereas actually here, when you've built the model, you've probably got 50% of the bricks left in the box. There's a huge number of elements left over once you've built these robots. So yeah, so we're saying there's around 50% of the bricks left over once you've built the main model. The big plate that Morten showed you before, the beautiful new Technic building plate, isn't actually in any of the robots. It's not in any of the core models, right? It's an extra that we put in and went, this is so fun to prototype and to build with and to use as a completely new element that we had to have it in the set. The same with the big frames and the extra wheels. So what we did then was we thought, well, wait a minute, if we've got all these extra bricks, why don't we come up with loads of extra cool activities? And there are 50 activities in the app. And I have to say, a lot of these are down to Morten's imagination and the building skills of Morten and Jörn and the other guys in the team to create these just really fun activities where you get to build things like a drum kit or a shopping cart or a ski board or make a golf game. There's a lot of personality in Charlie. There's a lot about building this character and then also having a lot of fun playing with it. So I say there's 50 activities. This is Charlie, and then if we look at Tricky's a super simple driving base, really easy to build, only 2 motors in the model. So you then have 2 motors left over for extensions. And this one is all about sports, and you can see loads of different sports. And I won't go through everything in the app and all the models because we'll show you them because we have them all here. One thing I will do before I stop sharing the screen and put the laptop back up on the shelf so we can see everything. You have your own projects. So if you're creating your own projects, you have an area for these, as you would expect in terms of file management. The really cool thing about this is when you create a new project, if you've already built one of the robots, and this is again trying to help kids have success. So if you've already built Tricky, for example, but you want to make your own Tricky program, when you create the project, what we do is we give you the default blocks that are part of the build to say, well, Tricky will now do something. So you can change it straight away. And we give you the palette on the left with all the other blocks you can use. So for each robot, you have a way to very quickly get in and start to make your own code. So again, for Blast, here's what you need just to get Blast going. The setting up the hub, calibration, and setting the movement motors. So this is really a really easy way to get into making your own programs for the models. I won't go into settings because there's obviously lots of stuff in settings, which, you know, changing language and legal terms and all that interesting stuff. The one other thing that I need to get rid of the zoom. It's in the way. So these are all Scratch based. So, you know, this is the default we have for all the activities because it gives kids the most chance of success. We also have beta access to the Python experience launching, which is a full Python editor within the app. Sorry, I just have to keep moving the Zoom panel. Oh, it's okay. This is on desktop and also on mobile phone. So if you want to, you have this full function. I'm not recommending that you start writing Python from scratch as your first, you know, way of doing Python on a mobile phone. But if you've got Python code for your robots and you want to edit something or you want to just tweak something on the fly, you can open it up on your phone and you can do that, right? And that's the great thing of having the same app across all the devices. In here, we have a knowledge base, which has a huge amount of information around getting started. I'm writing a Mindstorms Python program. And it has code snippets for you to copy in. It gives you examples of how to get motors moving, you know, how to use the color sensors, how to use the distance sensor, how to drive. So there's a lot of basics here for getting started with Python and Mindstorms. This is in beta because we're improving this as we go, but we feel it's a great addition.
In the past, such as with EV3 and NXT, there are different length cables. And that was the one benefit of having a cable that's not attached to the unit directly. Will there ever be some converters that allow for longer cables?
So at the moment, we don't have one in the set, and you know, this is something that we will look to take feedback and input from the community and from the fans on. And if this is something that there's a big need for, then we'll definitely look into it and explore it. Obviously, it's a change, moving to the LPF2 platform or moving to the the motors and the sensors with integrated cables. But if there's a desire to do something, we can definitely explore it.
Thanks, guys.
Right, we have 26 minutes left, according to my watch. I think we should see some of the models. Morten, do you want to start with Blast? Because I've been talking for a long time now about the app.
It is actually 9:20, not 9:30. Sorry, so
9:20. Right. Okay. Well, we'll be even quicker, right?
So this is Blast. Yeah, this is Blast. He's the model that's closest to the normal Mindstorms, you know, hero, but he's a little bit different this time because this time we have 4 motors, so we can do a lot of things that we couldn't do before. One of the cool things is even open his chest plate, then you can see all the mechanics inside. In there we have we have a differential, which makes it possible with one motor to control both the head and both arms at once. So we are using one motor in each leg for steering and moving him around, and then one motor for head and arm movement. And then the final motor is here in the right arm, where we have the possibility to build different extensions on him. So right now he has a blaster. I can just show you one of the activities that we have made, which is called Guard My Room, where he's put into sentry mode. now he's basically standing there scanning a perimeter, which is a distance sensor. And if something gets close, it will get shot. But the cool thing, as I mentioned, is that you can change this extension, and we've built a lot of different extensions for him, and the users themselves can build a lot of different extensions. So he also has a grabbing claw, so he'll be able to move around, find an object, pick it up, and move it somewhere else. I don't know if you can see it against my black t-shirt. Looks like this. He has a hammer, which you can attach, so he can really make a big swing and smash stuff. Yeah. We have this.
To say all the extra elements we have, so we built this like fairground, thing to hit and smash, and targets to shoot, and I've got a box of brick, all sorts down here. And yes. Conscious of the time, we won't go through all of them, but this is just an example of all those.
He even has a punching glove, so he can punch stuff. But as Dan said, we have a lot of different activities, and this guy, I think he has 12 activities in total. So there's a lot of different things that he can do, and he's a much more versatile character than the counterpart from earlier Mindstorms set. I think that you're going to have a lot of fun with him.
Very quickly, conscious of time, the other humanoid robot we have is Charlie, and obviously I went through some of the details of Charlie in the app. This is bring it back so you can see it. This is of course, it's a drum kit, right? We would use, build a Technic drum kit, and this is just to show you some of the, the fine motor control that we have, and the code in this is the kit can actually set the BPM and the tempo. Number of bars, and the BPM, so you can actually get drumming to a beat, which again brings a lot of character and personality to the little robot. Super fun, again, in terms of building extra props, extra accessories, extra stuff for the robot. There's loads to do for Charlie. I'm going to quickly carry on and talk about Tricky. So Tricky is the driving base. So this really simple, driving base. So hub, couple of motors, a couple of ball wheels, and the ultrasonic sensor, and you've got this little sort of compact sports bot, right? It's not very sporty at the moment. It's just more like a little bug. But you can then very quickly build one of the extensions. So you can see here, 2 red bicycle valves. Remove those, and then the motor comes out. On this one on the bottom for extra rock. And then actually this comes out. So you can see it's the same Tricky, but it just has this basketball attachment that is then built in. And then you can rebuild the basketball attachment into, we have a claw. So you can see there's a grabbing claw and the color sensor, and this is for bowling. So this takes the Duplo ball, grabs it in the claw. We have, of course, a huge bowling alley, right? Because then you need to be able to sort of bowl the alley down, and we have pins. So if you make Tricky, and the bowling attachment, and then this is a little jig to make the pins in. I won't have the time to set all the pins up, but you have that many bricks left over. So you've built this model, you've built this, you've got 1 motor spare, and you have all these bricks. It's just, so much potential for creating your own builds, or for modifying the builds that Morten and the guys have developed. Tricky also does spin bowling, which is another attachment using another motor to spin the ball. We have a drawing robot using a pen attachment. There's a soccer kicker one with a big, incredible reaction machine. All sorts. Conscious of time, I'm going very fast through it. There's a lot of videos that are going to be shared in the next few days from the marketing folk with all the official stuff around the launch, where we go into all these in a lot of detail. But I think we've got a couple of other models we'd like to finish on, given the time, which are...
You still have 11 minutes.
Okay.
11 minutes. We got 11 minutes
now.
but as you can hear from Dan, each of these models with all the extensions is basically a Lego set unto itself. So one of the things when we were done with this, we just started going through all the activities and all the models. I was like, this is, I haven't seen this much content.
I think there are 62 sets of building instructions for different models into the app. So we combine them into 50 activities, but there are 62 individual models to build, which is pretty insane for one box.
I'll just show Gilo really quick here. So this is one of the models that is possible now with having 4 motors. And he can even pathfind, so he will avoid the obstacles you put up in front of him. And he will choose a random direction each time. And you can, of course, program him to your own paths. He's also able to perform little stunts depending on the surface he's on. You can use this bone we made for him to activate the different tricks via the color sensor. Just see it sets up here. And he does a flip. That's intended.
Okay.
Well, I think he actually does a flip with a few of them. So he probably does a flip it also with this one. Yes, he is supposed to do a handstand with one of them. Let's just see here.
But the really cool thing about Gilo is the way we've used the motors. You know, there is offset pistons, and it's just a.
Oh, that was supposed to be the handstand.
Yeah.
It's sometimes different surface, different results. That's a cool little activity. I hope we have the time to show here.
We have 8 minutes.
8 minutes, yes, and it is program 5. Just going to test this thing.
Now we get a pin.
We get a pin.
Yeah.
So this little thing is a kind of a saddle. So you can build these little characters.
So yeah, we've all got little mini robots. So there's lots of different characters, and it's actually a game where you choose your robot and then you place them on the platform. And then it's the robot that stays on the longest is the robot that wins. So I chose this little guy at the front.
I chose this guy here in the back.
And he's already fallen over.
So do this rodeo thing,
And
he will go crazier and crazier. And you can, of course, program him to go as crazy and do as many jumps as you want. Each 10 seconds, he will go faster.
It looks like we chose pretty well here.
Yes.
No one's off.
But he has a few more gears. No.
Okay.
Hey, one is stuck. You're cheating.
You're cheating. Okay.
No, everyone survived. That's the first
This
time.
is the first time they haven't all fallen off. We play this game quite regularly on a Friday afternoon. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, that's the first time they've ever not fallen off. You have to take our word for it.
They can fall off.
It's super fun. They can fall off. Conscious of time, we want to show you the last model, and that is MVP. And MVP is the modular vehicle platform. It starts its life as a Dune buggy. So again, building the basics of the car, and then teaching the kids, how to make a remote control coding experience. And if I can try and show you my my phone, I'm going to come around to the other side so Robin can feed. So in the app, if I go here to the RC, there is a remote control, and with this model, it's already pre-built, but it's super easy to create a new one and to add a button, and then to position the button here and to change the color. So there's all sorts of really simple, easy way to create a custom remote control. And then the remote control coding is you jump back to the canvas and you find the remote control, and then you've got all the functions here to be able to really quickly build a remote control that has whatever you want in it. So this one is the shooter. So it just goes through the calibration, and then you can drive it around. I can raise, and I can, oh, I hit the key on my keyboard. I hope I haven't shut the call off. This is like crazy fun, to build these different models. And I say MVP comes with, again, all the bricks that you have in the set. You can build it into, there's a brick eating truck, which uses one of the motors to make a scoop, spin, and consume bricks. There's also, reaching all the way over, this really cool crane. And again, so it's got the crane, it's got the big turntable. So using the 2 motors in the crane and the 2 motors for the vehicle. Really fun to control, really fun to play and to mess around with. Now let me just exit out this. One of the other really cool things for MVP is an experimental extension that we've made for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So if I go here to the code we have, I turn on my PlayStation remote. So I just have this, and this is just paired up with my iPhone, just as you would if you were using Apple Arcade or other games, you know, with your phone or your iOS device, or with your laptop, Windows 10 and Mac OS. It's really easy to connect them. So now I don't have a remote control in here, so I don't have that remote control that you saw before. But if I run the code now, I'm going to need to find some more shooters because I've lost my darts. There's one, and I don't know where the other one went. So I'll steal one from here. So now, let me see, we're all black on black, we can't really see. So I'm controlling it with the D-pad. The triggers are my steering, and I can shoot with the buttons. And you can see the lights light up on the ultrasonic sensor when I press each button. This has been like really, really cool to develop, really fun to play with. When we put it in the hands of kids, obviously we don't need to tell them anything, they know what to do. But when they then see the code running on the phone or on the device, when they press the button on the PlayStation remote, there's this aha moment. They're like, whoa, I can change what the button does. And as soon as they realize that, they jump back in the code, they're exploring, they're experimenting, they're adding sounds, they're adding lights. You know, it's a really cool thing that we're bringing. We can't wait to get this into everyone's hands. It's so much fun. We have remote control for a lot of the models within the app, but all the code blocks are there, so you can create a PlayStation remote control for Blast or for Tricky, you know, and have loads of fun. We've got like 2 minutes for questions. I'm really sorry, guys. We could have talked for another hour. We haven't shown half the things that we have around us. We tried to give you a quick snapshot to all the models. Any last questions?
There is one, like how many Mindstorm sets did you use just to do this demo and show everything off?
Yeah, a few.
How the number of hubs?
Yeah, how many hubs? I mean, I don't know, maybe 10, 15. Yeah, we like to build. We're big Mindstorms fans as well as working here. We love to make these. It's been so much, you know. I mean, yeah, really
Well, you've got one person who's sold. He wants them.
But the really cool thing is that when you've built one model, where one base model, for example, then all the extensions are very quick and easy to build. So when you've built the buggy MVP, then it's just a question of building this little attachment or the crane, and that goes really fast. You just take this apart and then you build the next one. So it's actually a very quick and accessible experience, even though there's so much to do in here. Any last questions?
I guess one, you might have actually said it, but I don't know if it was clear. I guess one of the guys is asking, when are they going to be available?
On the 15th of October. So yeah, just under 2 weeks time.
And then I guess I got a question is, I actually do code in Python. So if I have programs on a computer, can I actually interface them, upload them to the device itself or to the Mindstorm computer?
So you'll need to bring the code into the Python editor we have in the app. And
Gotcha.
then
Okay.
you use the custom Mindstorms commands and the stuff that's in the knowledge base. But I have already seen a lot of people out there in the community with you know, with the other LPF2 hardware doing all sorts of crazy things. So you know, it's not. I mean, it's not impossible to do a huge amount with this. And we're looking forward to seeing what the next few years bring, because obviously with all the previous Mindstorms generations, we've had so many fans working on crazy stuff for so many years, and really finding all the edge cases and all the crazy stuff they can do. Morten's been working with a group of fans as well over the last year or so, or even longer in fact, and they've been a part of the development process, part of the reason why we put some different elements in the box, and looking at what we can do with fans in the future. So we're really excited. The launch is just the start. You know, we're looking forward to you know, the next, you know, however many years of Mindstorms. We've been here for 20 plus years, and we're looking forward to many, many more.
Well, that's impressive, Dan. And we do have to end the session now. Thanks a lot for what you guys showed off. It's I'm amazed. I'm excited.
Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.